Do you value your marriage? Okay? Because if you don't value your marriage, everything that we've talked about has been in vain. You're not going to do it. Why? Because you don't value your marriage. And I'm going to tell you, how do you know whether or not you value your marriage? Okay? This is going to come from scripture. So some of you may have a Bible. I'm going to read a little scripture to you real quick. This comes from Genesis chapter 25, okay? 29 through 34, okay? I'll read it to you.
Say it one more time, Kemper.
Genesis 25.
What? Yeah.
25. What?
29 through 34.
29 through 34.
Chapter 2.
25 to 29 through 34.
Once, y'all have that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may be reading a different translation. Once Jacob was cooking some stew, Esau came in from the open country famished, and he said to Jacob, "Quick, let me have some of that red stew. I'm famished." That's what they called him eating. Jacob replied, "First, sell me your birthright." "Look, I'm about to die," Esau said. "What good is this birthright to me?" But Jacob said, "Swear to me first." So he swore to him an oath, selling him his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and some lentil stew. And he ate and drank and then got up and left. So Esau despised his birthright. Y'all got that?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many of you guys heard this story? How many of you guys heard that before? Y'all heard that little story? So I want to show you, by using this as our launching pad, do you value your marriage? Okay? Do you value your covenant? Okay? That's what marriage is. It's a covenant. Do you value your covenant? Okay? Now, so just let me tell you what this is about. So Jacob he's cooking some stew. He's cooking some one translation said beans. He's cooking some beans or whatnot, right? And Jacob comes in from hunting and out in the field, and he feels like he's famished. He feels like he's to the point of dying. He feels like he's so hungry that at that moment, if he doesn't get something to eat, he feels like he's going to die, right? So at that moment, Jacob takes advantage of his hunger, takes advantage of his appetite, and he says to him, "Well, sell me your birthright." Okay? Wow. Sell me your birthright. Okay? Now it's interesting that when he says, "Sell me your birthright," that Esau says, "Look, I'm about to die. I'm famished. I'm hungry. I'm to the point of death." Now listen to what he says. "What good is the birthright to me?" Okay? So that tells me a couple things. First of all, it tells me that he knew what the birthright was. He knew what it was, right? Because he said, "Right now I'm about to die. What good is this thing?" He understood what the birthright was. So it'd be one thing if he was ignorant of what the birthright was, that he sold it. But he wasn't ignorant because he said, "What good is it to me seeing that I'm about to die right now?" Okay? So then he said, he says, "It's no good to me," and then he sells it to him. And then Jacob says, "Swear to me that you're going to sell it to me." And he says, "Okay, I swear that I'm going to sell it to you." And then he eats the food, and the Bible says strangely, he ate it, he drank, got up, and walked away. Right? Do you think he valued that birthright? Do you think he valued it? Now, why don't you think he valued it? What in that story makes you think that he didn't value that covenant, that birthright? Because he got up and walked away?
He gave it away.
He gave it away to me.
He gave it away to you. Okay? Anybody else? Okay, so I'm going to give you three things that probably encapsulate everything that I just finished saying. But first of all, let me tell you this. Let me tell you what the birthright was. The birthright was a covenant. It was a covenant thing in Israel. And what it said was that the eldest son, the firstborn son, he got a double portion of the inheritance.
That's right.
You understand that? It's a covenant that says the firstborn son got a double portion of the inheritance. And not only did he give a double portion of the inheritance, but when the father dies, he became like the patriarch of the family. He became as the one who was now took on the priestly role or the father role over the family. And it's now his responsibility to take care of everyone else in the family. You know, he got that role. And not only did he do that, but he served as a patriarch, received the double portion, and he assumed responsibility for support of the family. And not only that, but that was something that was like in his children, in his heritage. For then on, they were recognized as that eldest. This was the eldest son's family. They were held in the highest thing. But the bottom line is, this was a covenant. Okay? And so then, just like this is a covenant, marriage is a covenant as well. Okay, and what I think is that many of us are Esau's. Many of us treat our marriage the way Esau treated his covenant. Many of us treat our covenant the way Esau treated his covenant. And point blank, he was willing to sell it real cheap. Sold it real cheap for a pot of beans. Now listen, why did he sell it?
He was hungry.
He was hungry. Somebody rephrase that. So just okay. He was hungry. Keep on talking.
Mean nothing to him because he was gonna be dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So elaborate on what you're saying right now.
He believed that if he were to die, it was gonna be no good to him anyway. So he might as well sell it in order to live, but not thinking about, well, if I live, then I'm not gonna have it.
Right. So in other words, he sold it cheap for something temporary.
Yeah.
For something right now. To eat something right now. To taste of something right now. Right? To enjoy something right now. Right? And then starve later. Right? I'm gonna destroy, get rid of what I have, something that's gonna bless me, something that will bless my children, something that's going to affect my children. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop.
That's the part.
Preacher voice right there.
That's it. Yeah.
That was preacher voice right there. Like, you didn't hear me what I said.
Don't help yourself, man. Help yourself, man.
But in order to satisfy something temporary, in order to satisfy something that was up in him temporary, that rose in him temporary, right? He got rid of something that would bless him forever. Not only would bless him forever, but bless his children. And his children's children. Right?
That's a word, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then on top of all that, listen, on top of all that, he knew what the covenant was. He understood what it was. He sold it very cheaply, right? But not only did he sell it very cheaply, he sold it cheaply for something that was only going to last for a moment. But then after he did all of that, you know what he did? He ate, he drank, got up,
Walked away.
Now, how many of you, now just be for real, how many of y'all ever sinned? Have you ever sinned before? Okay. Now, how many of you, after sinning, post-sin, you was like, man, I shouldn't have did that.
Yeah.
Right? But how many of you remember the times when you sinned and you just didn't have something up?
Yeah.
You didn't think anything of it, right? And see, and sadly, that's what so many of our marriages are today. So many of our marriages are that we have sold our marriage very cheaply for something temporary, and once we sell it for something temporary, we just walk away like it didn't mean anything. Right? And you wonder why so many people are scarred, so many people are hurt. You know, I mean, I can understand a woman saying, I got a problem moving on in a moment because he just walked away. Like it was nothing, like it didn't mean anything. Or she just walked away like it didn't mean anything. Right? Never look back, no regret, no remorse, no call, say, hey, let's talk about this. Nothing, just walked away. That's what he did. Right? But all of those actions that we just talked about showed me three things that we need to answer, that's going to help us answer the question, do I value my covenant? Do I value my marriage? Okay? Here it is. Number one. You will not value what you don't work for. You hear me what I said? You will not. I mean, think about Esau. Esau didn't have to work for that. That was just something by proxy of him being born that he received. Okay? He didn't have to work for it. But hold on. But turn around and look at who got it. Who got the covenant? Who got the covenant? Okay? Jacob. See what Jacob did? Jacob worked for that thing. Now listen, I know it was deception, but think about this. When he was coming out of the womb, he had a hold of Esau's foot. He was working in, trying to pull Esau back in so he could be the firstborn. He was working in, right? Now listen, why would you be at a stove cooking? Why would you be cooking? Anybody?
Somebody's hungry. I gotta eat.
Probably because I'm hungry, right? Look, I need to eat. I need to cook, so I'm hungry. But think about this. What did Jacob do?
He knew how to
So we don't look at that, right? So not only did he work for it, right? He gave up something that he even desired, because he wouldn't have been cooking if he didn't have the desire, right? So, but he gave up him eating it and gave it to his brother. He worked for it because he realized the value of it. And anytime you value something, you will work for it. So, therefore, if you value your marriage, then what's in that book? You're going to do it.
Yeah.
You're going to put forth the effort. And the proof is, if you don't value it, you're not going to work for it. If you don't value it, you won't work for it. How many of y'all ever seen this, the little show that comes on TLC? And I love to sit there and laugh at these people. You know, Once Was a Millionaire, or something like that. I hit the lotto.
The lotto changed my life.
Lotto changed my life.
You said, bro, you had how many millions?
Right.
And you living well now?
Right.
And you got how much now? Had all that money and lost it. Why? Because it's a proven fact that when you don't work for something, you don't value it.
Talk, man.
Right? If you don't work for it, you don't value. You don't value what you won't work for. So the proof of whether or not you value your covenant is, are you willing to work for it? And I want to answer. Are you willing to work for it?
Oh, yes.
If not, don't talk to me.
Yes.
Are you willing to work for it? Are you willing to work for it? Are you willing to work for it? Listen. Are you willing to work for it? Right? Work. Are you willing to work for it? Are you willing to listen? Are you willing to forgive for it? Are you willing to say, I'm sorry for it? Am I willing to say, I was wrong for it? Are you willing to work? Are you willing to work? Listen, are you willing to say, you know, we can just be alone for it? Are you willing to say it's going to be just me and you tonight for it?
And he's
right. Are you willing to say, look, I want to do this, but what you want to do for it? Right? You know what I mean? Are you willing to work for it? I mean, that matter. Are you willing to say, listen, are you willing to say, no, I don't feel like talking, but what's up?
Yeah.
You know, are you willing to do that? Are you willing to be like, no, I really don't feel like talking, but what's up? Right?
He talking about what's up as in I don't feel like talking.
As in you know you don't feel like talking, but since you want to talk. Right. I don't feel like talking, but I'm not telling you to say that, bro. Don't say that, because she's not going to want to talk. What I'm saying is, on the inside, you know you don't want to talk. And you know, with me, I don't feel like having a discussion. But because you feel it's necessary for us to talk about it, then we can talk about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's work. That's putting in work.
Yes.
Right? That's exerting energy. That's putting forth effort because it value. Now, you're not going to put forth effort in anything that don't matter to you. Right? Look at how you work on your job. You see how people talk to you and how you keep on working? You keep on clocking in because you value that paycheck, right? Right, yeah. And it's the same thing in your marriage. If you value your marriage, you are going to, look, just turn to your, I was about to say turn to your neighbor, tell your neighbor. Turn to your spouse and tell your spouse, clock in, baby.
Clock in.
Put some work in.
Yeah.
Clock in, right? And look, here's the second thing. And this is what happened with Esau. Listen to what Esau said. Esau says, I am at the point of dying right now. What good is the birthright? What good is it going to do me if I'm getting ready to die right now? So you don't value what you won't wait for. That's right. You do not value what you will not wait for. Do you understand what I'm saying? Listen to the value of the birthright. The birthright was something that he would, you know, I mean, in some cultures, it was to the father's discretion. He didn't have to be dead in order to pass on heritage. We see that in the story of the prodigal son. It was to his discretion. He knew what he wanted to do. But oftentimes it was, you know, when the father died, it was, the heritage was left to son. Or when he knew, or when he felt his years was waning, as in the case of Isaac, when he thought he was getting too old, he would, you know, bestow the fatherly blessings upon the eldest and upon the sons. Okay, but this was in the future. This is something that's going to happen in the future, right? So in order for him to enjoy the complete benefits of it, right? Think about it. He would not be recognized as the patriarch of the family until his father died. right? However, his father could have bestowed some of the possessions upon him, right? So what am I trying to say? There were stages and phases of benefits, you see, but they were not all reaped at the same time. There were some benefits that may have been reaped, by the bestowing of the possession, right? But the role as patriarch of the family wouldn't happen until the father died. That may be down the road. But there were stages and phases of benefit. So he had to wait. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, listen. I know that when you read that book, it sounds like this plateau. It sounds like this aurora lights. It sounds like this wonderful place that no one can be at. But what you have to understand is, first of all, if you value it to put in work, then you also value to wait, because you understand that there are stages and phases of benefits. I do not expect my wife to act like everything that's in that book right now. But what I do understand is, I recognize that she's trying. I recognize that he's putting in work. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm willing to wait for them to get better. I'm willing to wait for them to work on themselves. I'm willing to wait for us to work on our marriage. I'm waiting. I'm waiting and working. Do you understand that? I am not leaving here tonight and saying, see how you just talked to me? You just been talking about that. I'm not doing that when I leave here tonight. I'm working and waiting. Right? Working and waiting. Say that. Working and waiting.
Working and waiting.
Okay? Listen. What was it that Esau saw? Esau saw. Now listen, because this is gonna bless you. Listen. Okay? Esau had something that was rising up in him. Okay? Which was, for him, it was hunger. Okay? And what he did was, he put that which was rising up in him, right, over that which he had, that which was already his, right? But he had to work for and wait for it, okay? So that reveals to me also that that you don't value it if you don't put worth on it. If you don't worth it, as they would say in the English time, worth it. You have to put worth on it, right? I mean, you don't value it if you don't put value on it. You understand what I'm saying? You don't value it if you don't put value on it, if you don't put worth on it, if you don't prioritize it, right? So listen, let's just be real honest. There are things that rises up in all of us, okay? There's temptation that rises up in all of us. You know, some of the sisters, when I say temptation, y'all start getting, I see your head start to shake like that. The only temptation ain't sexual. You do know that all temptations. I said there's a gamut of temptation, and all temptations are not sexual. You do understand that, but some temptations are sexual. Okay, but there are many things that rises up in us. What about the temptation to just retaliate? Right? And you know what I do when that rises up in me? I have to place worth on my marriage. I'm gonna give you an example. I don't know if I put this in the book or not, but there's a story in the Bible where Sarah has just died, right? And he wants to bury her, right? So he has this good friend, he's from a foreign nation, and he goes to him and he says, hey man, sell me this land over here that I may bury Sarah, right? And the guy says, Abraham is such a good friend. It's like, Abraham, no man, I wouldn't dare sell you this property. Just take it and bury your wife, right? But in the back of Abraham's mind, because he's so wise, he says, you and I have a good relationship, but I don't think, it may be possible that your children may not have a good relationship with my children, and they may come back and want to take this land back. But if I purchase it, then it belongs to me forever, and it will belong to my children, and it can be a perpetual burying ground for all of our family. You understand what I'm saying? But the guy's like, no, I will not sell it to you. You're my friend. I'm not going to sell it to you. Abraham says, I'm not going to allow you to give it to me. I'm going to buy it. So it becomes a bone of contention, right? Now listen to what the guy says to Abraham. He says, Abraham, you are my friend. What is this land between us? That's in the Bible. What is this property between you? I mean, this property is nothing when it comes to who you and I are, right? To who we are to each other. This piece of land is nothing, right? So he says, go ahead and buy it, right? Because he would not allow the disagreement of the property to come between the relationship. And so do I worth my marriage? Do I value my marriage? If I value it, then I'll put worth on it. Worth over sometimes it feels good to retaliate, right? So I'm not going to appease that. I'm not going to place value on how good it feels for me to retaliate. I'm going to put value on the fact that if I retaliate, it's going to become a bigger problem. You know what I'm saying? If I say that, which I know, you ever had that perfect comeback? Ooh. Like that's the one that's gonna cut right there. I'll be as transparent as possible. Look, when my wife and I have been married for 10 years, and when my wife and I first got married, I was raised with my dad wasn't, he wasn't. It was what you would call a sorry dude, right? And once upon a time, that was a word for women to say to men was, "You a sorry dude." But my dad, I had of sorts, sorry dude, right? I always wanted to say I would never be like that, right? Never. I'm gonna be something to my kids. When I come home, my kids are gonna be excited when I come home. When I come home, my wife is gonna want me there. You know what I'm saying? My home will be a castle for all of us to enjoy. I've always said that, right? But my wife knew I had a problem with the whole sorry dude thing. So sometimes she knew how to say it too. Look, you are sorry. Jesus? Yeah. I'm about to lay hands on But all of us like that. You know why it's like that? Because this person knows you more than anybody else does. They know how to push the button. So listen, do you value your marriage? You put worth on a marriage. And I can prove to you whether or not you put worth on it. There's the button. You have full access to push the button, but you refuse to push it. Right? I can push the button, but I won't push the button because I love you more than I love getting back at the moment. I love you more than I love winning this argument. Then I love winning this fight. Okay? So if I value my marriage, I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna work for it. I'm gonna wait for it, and I'm gonna work on it. Yes. You understand that? I'm gonna work for it, wait for it, and put worth on it. Okay? Now, here's the affirmation. Again, as believers of Christ. Say it with me. As believers of Christ.
As believers of Christ.
I am not trying to gain a healthy marriage. As believers in Christ.
I
am simply trying to claim my healthy marriage. God bless you.
Amen.